Hey guys, welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day video. Today was one of those days where I just got a super late start, so I didn't really eat my breakfast until much later in the day. And since breakfast is really breaking your fast, I'm just eating whenever I'm hungry. So I've gone ahead and worked out already, and right now I'm just spiralizing 3 russet potatoes. I've already peeled them and chopped them in half. If you have a spiralizer like this, what I recommend is when you chop your potato in half, put the flat side facing up and then the round side facing down. It just seemed to work so much better doing it that way without losing too much of the potato itself. But when you get done, you get left with a really thin little potato patty, and I just save those for later, throw them in my air fryer if I want a snack, or put them with a meal for the next day. So this could totally be done with just already shredded potatoes, like hash browns. I didn't have any, so I'm spiralizing them, and this is my fun little experiment I thought of. So once I'm done spiralizing all the potatoes, I put them on a towel to absorb the moisture, and then on my air fryer sheets, I'm just putting them into these mounds and just continuing this process, making sure there's enough space between each one. And then on my next air fryer sheet, I'm just going to spread the potatoes evenly along the layer and just kind of seeing how those turn out, and cooking these in my air fryer at 400 degrees for about 16 minutes. And I added just a few extra minutes just to get it a little bit crispier, but it's totally up to your preference of crispiness. Another option, if you don't have an air fryer, you can cook these on a silicone baking sheet at 400 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes, using my favorite seasoning, the Everything Bagel seasoning, to top off my hash browns. I'm going to cook this in my air fryer, and then while those are cooking, I'm going to chop up my veggies. So using about half of a container of white mushrooms, just chopping those up, and then I have half of a yellow onion and a whole zucchini that I'm going to chop up and throw into my saucepan. If you have any other ways that you like to cook your veggies, throw some suggestions in the comment box below and let me know. I'm looking for definitely new, innovative ways to cook veggies, and also experimenting cooking them in my air fryer too, which I'm sure will be in a video coming up soon as well. It's amazing to start out with all these wonderful raw veggies, and then once they're cooked down, it becomes like half the volume. So it seems like a lot at first, but it really ends up not being that much. So in my saucepan, I'm just going to water saute my veggies, adding some low sodium tamari to it and some garlic powder for flavor, and just cooking these until they are perfectly tender. And once the veggies had kind of cooked down a little bit, I went ahead also and added half a bag of raw spinach, because that's just gonna cook down to almost nothing. But I wanted to add more veggies to my meal. And once my veggies are done, I just added a little bit of Everything Bagel seasoning, and then my potatoes turned out really well, and I added some ketchup. So for dinner, I was craving a warm white bean soup that I was inspired by, that I saw online, and so I'm creating my own version of it, chopping up my veggies. So using several stalks of celery, it's going to help with the base of the soup. So instead of using a bunch of vegetable broth or even bouillon cubes, using a bunch of celery is going to add that little bit of salty flavor to it, and it's just a really nice alternative if you want a salt-free option in your soup. And using a few broccoli stalks that I had left over and just getting off the little rough bits of it, chopping that up into bite-sized pieces. I usually would make my broccoli cheddar soup with these, but I just wasn't feeling that today, so I wanted something different. And then this is just gonna bulk up the veggies in my soup, making it even more calorie dilute. And then using a large sweet potato, I'm gonna head and peel the outer layer and then just chop this up into cubes as well. love using my Instant Pot for making these big stews and soups. I think I probably cook something in my Instant Pot in almost every what I eat in a day video, just because it's so convenient and I'm obsessed with it. So adding in all my veggies and then a can of Great Northern beans that I've drained, a can of light coconut milk, and so add a layer of creaminess while keeping it still low fat. And the key to this is a ton of herbs de Provence. I love using herbs de Provence. Oh, if you've ever gone to France, it's like the best seasoning ever. It just makes everything so much more decadent. And then I'm using a tablespoon of white miso. The herbs de Provence, I found that big jar at like TJ Maxx, but they do sell it at the grocery store. Adding in enough water to cover everything and giving it a really good stir, just making sure everything's mixed together, and then that herbs de Provence gets distributed evenly. And then using several cups of kale to top this off with. I'm going to be cooking this in my Instant Pot on manual for about 12 to 13 minutes, and then naturally release for about another 10 minutes. And then it'll be ready to be served. So I chose to pair this soup with 2 pieces of oil-free sourdough bread that I toasted. So good with dipping that in, but you can also use 1 or 2 slices of Ezekiel bread for that. That's oil-free, or pair it with rice or even extra veggies if you want to accelerate your weight loss, making it simple and easy and delicious.